Things just took a shocking turn with reports that Coby White will miss the first 2 weeks of the season, leaving big question marks on who is going to pick up the slack and how will the team react to his absence. Hey, everybody, welcome to Bulls Digest. Not a fun day. Not a fun day. We have a good show for you, but not a fun day. We're going to break down what's going on with Coby White. We're going to break down what the team has to do to step in to fill that gap, if they can even fill that gap. But before we get started, please do make sure you hit that subscribe button, like and subscribe button, because we're noticing that people who are stopping by the channel, only 32.5% of you are actually hitting that subscribe button. 67.5% of you are not, and you're going to want to hit subscribe so you guys can be up to date on all things Chicago Bulls. Let's get to it. Coby White, he was slated to start the season. There was no problems after Saturday's practice. Things went a little sideways, especially with there's two different injuries that are occurring. There's one with his hamstring or one with his leg, and then they're worried that that's going to affect the Achilles tendon. So they're very this appears on the outset to be cautiously it's just cautious, and they're optimistic that he'll be back in 2 weeks. This doesn't seem to be a serious thing, but the fact that he was slated to start the season tomorrow, and then they had to pull him back. That's not a good sign, because that means something happened in practice where that tightness. Now, again, this could just be precautionary, which I would err on the side of caution considering he's our engine. We all know for a fact that Coby, so like if the Bulls are a car, he is the engine. We go where he goes, he sets the tempo, we feed off of him. So it's something to monitor. Now, here's the kicker. The Bulls initially expected White to be ready for the opening night, just like I said. Instead, he is still ramping up basketball activities and working on conditioning after missing the entire preseason. Nothing screams rough start to the season quite like your leading scorer watching from the bench in street clothes when you tip off your critical campaign. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. The key here is what's really going on. And we can use deductive reasoning. There's either an A or a B here. A is they're just being cautious, and he didn't have a preseason, so he needs to get into basketball shape in order to crank out points every night and be the productive scorer and ball distributor that he is. And he's just not. So he needs an extra 2 weeks because he didn't have the preseason. That's and they're just being cautious, and that's just what they want to do. Or B, he's actually hurt worse than we understand. And they're being overly cautious, knowing how detrimental it would be if he were to come back 2 weeks later. He's here for about 2 weeks and then blow something out. That would ruin us. That would be the end of the season for us. Well, not the end of the season, but we're losing our major engine. That would kill. So in White's absence, Chicago has started both Trey Jones and Ayo. And we saw that in the preseason, backcourt during the preseason. That's not exactly a murderer's row of offensive firepower, though both bring their own strengths. Jones, as I've mentioned here many times, provides steady playmaking, while Ayo offers versatility and defensive intensity. That's good. That's all really good. That's good. I mean, put it this way. It would be worse if we had nowhere to go and we were pulling a real true 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 off of an NBA bench. These are true sixes. These are true sixes that could be starters on other weaker teams. So the thing is going to be, now we have to see how we play. If we actually can go 500 or just a little below without Coby, that is a win to me, but we have to see how they react. The lights come on tomorrow. We got to see what's going on. So, Ayo's game looks like it's going to take a step up this season. Just in the preseason, and you can't base a lot on the preseason because your ones aren't playing with your twos, and your twos are sometimes playing with the ones that are going against threes, because everyone's trying to earn a spot on the roster. So what I'm saying though is I believe, based on what I've seen conditioning athletically and how he stretched the floor and his just basic offensive output, he's going to take a step up this season. Well, there's no better time than to start than tomorrow, because we need you, man. We need you big time. And he has the ability to do that. So that's a good sign. That's a very good sign. Now, our other guy, Trey. He can distribute the ball. He's the closest. So he's closer than Ayo is. Ayo, you still want to kind of vacillate between, when Mattis comes in and out. You want to vacillate him between the 2, 3, and 4, 4 on smaller lineups in 2 and 3. But Trey could be your guy right now, and I'm really interested to see how they gel. I want to see how they connect and how they click, because to me, that would be a good problem to have. If we can have him not as productive as Coby White, but if somehow we can get his defensive intensity, which is up there, but we can get him to distribute the ball at a high level where you have 3, 4 players in double figures. That is the goal, because now he will have taken the heavy lifting of the Coby White distributing the ball portion. It's Coby White scoring that, if you distribute the ball correctly, that we can maybe make up with the amount of players we have. It's not going to come from Trey, and it's not going to come from Ayo. It's just not. So, knowing this, we know we're not going to replace this. We know those numbers don't get replaced. You don't replace a Coby White. He's our engine. So, as I said, points per game, what you got to do then is you just have to have 4 other players get 5 points. So 5 more points than they normally do, and bam, you've just chewed into them. The thing I want to see, though, is if Trey's in, if I was in, I'd like to see those assists in doubles, because then Coby White, you're blunting his absence. That's basically what you have to try to do when we're starting the season. You have to blunt the absence of him, and that's going to be an awful tall order. Like I said, it's either A or B. I'm leaning towards A, because that would indicate that they saw something in practice where they're like, man, you're just a step slow. You're not game time ready. You just like to just give you the example. It's very similar to in a Broadway show. You do your dress rehearsal and you're like, man, you do not know your lines and things don't look good. So I'm looking at that as a indicator. And from the sports beat writers, that's kind of what they're seeing. And that's kind of what we're seeing as a whole. So Ayo, his numbers have to come up this season. We've harped on that, beat that with a hammer. Now, if he keeps his points here or goes a little north and gets those assists up even more, and Trey and he can split time, we are looking very good. I don't see a problem with that. I see only good things. That's not an issue. We can overcome that. But make no mistake, this is a big hit for us. It's a big hit. Now, what does Ayo think of how we're going to handle making the playoffs this season? So this is before Coby White went down for 2 weeks. He goes, you say it, write it down, believe it. We're going to make the playoffs this year. Got to say it. You got to believe it. What you say. If you don't believe what you said, you're not going to be successful. Believe it. Keep saying it. We're making the playoffs. We're making the playoffs. We're making the playoffs. Anything you want to do, all the children out there, all the adults, whatever you want to do, just say it. That's nice, but this sounds like a Key and Peele sketch where it's like, literally anyone can fly. And it's like, no, that's not a thing. It's a good it's good PMA, positive mental attitude. You don't replace a Coby White. So the season starts tomorrow. Let's get ready to go. Please, let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Always love to hear from you. And before you leave, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, because without you, there's no us. It's going to be a wild ride. Tomorrow night it starts. Go Bulls.